The Blades beat Portsmouth, but only just. Many fans say that both Peck and O'Hare have to start because their industry is what is needed. Mark says Peck needs to start every game for the rest of the season. He's played his heart out every single minute of every single game. He's a Blade through and through and gets what it means. What do you think? Do Peck and O'Hare have to start games? Plus, who won the transfer window? Was it the Blades or was it Burnley? We'll get these fans' unbiased view on that. We're talking about the worst ever Sheffield United manager. We managed to complete the worst ever Sheffield United 11. There it is. We'll talk you through it at the end of the video. But stay tuned because we're asking these guys to pick the worst ever manager. And it's Valentine's week this week. So our fourth topic at the end of this is how did these team fall in love with being a Sheffield United fan? We've got our full team back with us in Shex, Connor, Dan and Elliot, and we're delighted to have you with us as well. Thank you for all the love that we had last week's video. I'm a bit scared how this is going to go because we're going to talk about O'Hare again and Peck starting. So let's bypass Shex for a second, if that's okay, and talk about the game against Portsmouth. Connor, were you the worst side in that game?
By a mile. In every department, I don't think there was anything that were better than Portsmouth in. They outfought us. They were better than us in everything. Won every second ball. They were dangerous going for every time they went forward, putting a ball in the box. You thought they were going to score. They had obviously two open nets, which they should have definitely been in the net. There was a one-on-one quite early on that Cooper did a really good save. Offside goal, that was very marginal. Again, it could have gone either way. Overall, I think we were really, really lucky to get the 3 points. I was fully expecting us to come away from that with a loss. I think if it wasn't for Amor, I think we could have ended up like the whole game again. But on the whole, like we said previously, we can't complain about the performances as long as we're picking up the points.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into the actual football, we also want to mention and just give a shout out to the work of the club, of course. The tributes to young Harvey Wilgers, who sadly lost his life in a vicious attack at school. And as our own Elliot here has said, lives not knives, and fair play to all clubs involved, and West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday, of course, as well, who also stopped play for the minute's applause. And we should never ever be talking about this kind of stuff ever again. Let's hope we aren't. Right, let's jump into the comments then, Elliot. O'Hare is vital to our press. Those of us who analyse games properly will be telling everyone for this for weeks. Who knows what Wilder was thinking today? A front four of BBD, COH, Hamer and Cannon should be the one. Danny says Sydie Peck is absolutely everywhere when he came on, quality performance. So, O'Hare and Peck, neither of them started. Should they have done?
Peck certainly should have started. When he came on, he looked, as he always does, he looked on it, he looked ready for it. Yes, there wasn't much service either way from anyone, but he would still try and make the service out of nothing. O'Hare, on the other hand, I think it was the right decision to leave him out the starting 11 because over the last couple of games, he's not shown much, really. If anything, he's actually shown worse than anything as an improvement. But Wilder, he's probably changing up a tactic, trying to switch around the team better. I still feel like they shouldn't have put Campbell in. Should have put him put him in as a sub. But overall, I think O'Hare should be a sub, if not just a final 30-minute player. Peck should be a 100% starting every game.
Dan, people were saying, or say a few fans were saying, look, okay, O'Hare isn't the best technically, but he gives you that energy. He harries defenses. He closes players down. You know, his industry is what was missing in that first half. Are they wrong?
In one respect, no, but again, we've not had nobody to replace Callum O'Hare. To take Callum O'Hare off this season, we had nobody to bring on for him. So I don't know. It's a tough one, really. I wouldn't have started with him. I thought he needed to be benched. Same as Sydie Peck. They've played a lot of minutes, both of them together. So I think it was the right thing to do. I wouldn't bring Peck back in as my first choice. I still think the two that played Saturday would be my two that I'd play. O'Hare doesn't start for me. I think later on in games, when you want to tire teams out, you want to press, you want to run around, that's the time to start him. I think you're seeing times that Raksaki, Emma, brereton-diaz will be the three. And I think it wasn't wrong starting four. You know, if we can play two strikers, you can only play Cannon and Campbell as a two, really. You can't play Campbell in a three or Cannon in a three behind the forward. I think can't do that. But why can't we play two different ways? Why can't he play four the way that he did at the weekend? We just have to, if we're going to play two strikers, we just have to get it into feet more. But it's not all about. I think we have to change. We have to change tactics sometimes. We can't keep O'Hare. I don't think O'Hare can play in a four. I'll be honest. I think in a three, when you want to chase teams down or you want to put a bit of pressure on at the end, but in a four, I don't really think you can get him in. To be honest, I think it's
all right. Just thanks for that, Dan. On the numbers of that, checks then. This was from another tweet. Says it's got to make changes for midweek. For me, ditch the two strikers and go back to 4-2-3-1. Raksaki coming in onto the right is an absolute must. And even Wilder himself said we weren't very good today. What's your view on all the above?
I think it was just a one-off. I mean, all these people that you keep loading these tweets up. I mean, I go back to that one about O'Hare. I mean, we lost 3-0 at home to Hull when O'Hare played, and then they're desperate to have that back. Derby away, O'Hare played. It was shocking. He got subbed off after an hour because he couldn't kick a ball straight. So all these so-called experts that seem to know more than Wilder, that's won an LMA Managers Award, and I'd do this and I'd do that. Well, apply for the job then. If it's that easy, apply for the job. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand it. We had an off day. Like I've said before, I've said it a million times, you're allowed to lose a game of football. As it goes, we didn't even lose that game. Portsmouth were just a good side. They just come, they had a bee in the bonnet, they give it a good go. But they've gone back down M1 with now. So just everyone needs to just calm down a bit, and then hopefully we'll play Middlesbrough on Wednesday night, and then you don't know that same 11 could win a game 3-4-0. We miss chances as well, you know what I mean? Brewster's one-on-one with keeper, and he's somehow managed to not hit target. I thought Cannon could have hit target when he broke through. So we've missed a few chances as well. I think everyone just needs to just chill out and calm down. You know what I mean? Like Connor said, if you're crap and you win a game of football, then you're doing something right, aren't you? You know what I mean? Imagine if we do play well.
Okay. Neil says it will click. It need a bit of time to gel. People forget that Leeds and Burnley squads have been settled for most of the season. Ours was a complete rip and replace. It's remarkable that we are where we are under those conditions, and we're starting, of course, with -2. I've read a lot, Connor, about this. It's going to take time to gel. But here's my issue with that as a neutral, and I mean this genuinely. You've got 15 games left. If it's going to take time for this said squad to settle down, there could be some distance between you and second by the time that happens, couldn't there?
Potentially, yeah, but it's only like it in January. We brought 5, 6, however many players in. And again, they're going to need time to settle. They're going to need time to get used to the system and while they want them to play. Some of these players, Cannon, for instance, he'd probably been playing with a partner up front when he were at Stoke, whereas he's coming into this side, he's playing up on his own with people around him. You've got to get used to all these different aspects and get used to building chemistry and partnerships with certain players. And I know, like you said, there's only 15 games to go, but you've just got to give them maybe a couple of games just to gel and get things right. Same with Wilder. He's got these new players in. He needs to figure out who fits in where and the best formation, the best shape to play, who to put where. And I think it might take a couple of games, but we do really need to get on it, especially Middlesbrough coming up and Leeds at the end of the month. There's not a lot of time to fit that gelling time in, but we really need to do it, and they need to get it done quick. But I don't think there's any need for concern. Like I said, we've got a really talented squad. There aren't many, maybe odd one better than us in the league. So I'm fairly comfortable that I think we will still get that top two.
All right. Okay. Over on the Sheffield United way, which of course is a cracking listen, and we're not putting anyone down here, go and listen to them as well. But Andrew McMath here who's a commentator on there, was saying, Dan, that this was Rhian Brewster's rebirth in that game yesterday, with his assist plus a shift away from leading the line as a number 9. We are witnessing the beginning of a new, more effective Brewster. Do you agree, Dan? I'm not going to Shaq's on this, so I can't. Sorry.
I don't agree. I don't agree as a 9. Not a chance as a 9. I think in the new system, in the three behind the striker, I think he has been effective in games. He's never going to come and score goals. We know that. He missed a gilt edge chance yesterday that probably Cannon or Campbell and even Kiefer Moore, it took away. But I think you could talk about hard work. You could talk about hard work and graft, and he got an assist. Come on, look lively. There's been a couple of games where he probably was unlucky to be dropped, but as a rebirth, I wouldn't say. No, I just think he's obviously fitter now. He's not playing every minute. He's coming off, and he's having an impact. He's been effective, whether it's assists or whether it's just contributions in other ways. But I wouldn't say a rebirth. I think it's a bit too late for that. But I'm going to give him a bit of credit because his performances have been all right recently. Like I say, come on yesterday, his assist changed game. It was a decent ball. He should have scored at end. But yeah, I think his performance has been good to definitely warrant a place in the squad. Not in starting 11, but in the squad definitely.
Okay. Anybody want to disagree?
No.
Good. Right, let's move on to our second topic then. Before we do, can you drop us a like? We're trying to get to 100 likes for the first time. It's Valentine's week, so if you can massively help us, show us your love a little bit, press that like button. That would be absolutely superb. Transfer window closed, of course, by the time we spoke to these guys last week. Elliot, this is... Oops, sorry, that's the wrong button. That's the one I wanted. So many commentators outside of Sheffield United commentators were saying that you guys won the transfer window with obviously signings like brereton-diaz and Hamza Chowdhury. I mean, for me, I think that's one of the best signings that we'll look back on. But others are saying Burnley will have won it, of course, with the signing of Edwards, Lafay going to Sunderland, and so on. Who for you has done the better of the top 4 clubs?
My earphones weren't working.
That's all right. We've lost you there. Shax, can you take that one while Elliot sorts his sound out?
Right, just on sheer volume, I think we've had the best transfer window, as in quality as a whole. If you round all them players up, then I think we've done the best. I think this, obviously, Burnley with Edwards is a cracking individual. Lafay with Sunderland. I mean, them Sunderland fans, when I see some of them tweets, listening to them as if they've ever watched French League and seen him play, that's just laughable. Like the amount of Sunderland fans that have developed an interest in French League is just frightening. Oh, his class. No, he's sat on a bench in Italy and he's had a good season in France that you've never watched. I don't even know if they had TVs in Sunderland. They might have French TV, so I don't know how they're experts in him all of a sudden. So yeah, I would say as a whole we've had the best window. Yeah, as I said, there is quality individuals gone other places. Some ones that you don't notice as well. Like, it's not just Sunderland and Burnley. I think West Brom signing Armstrong, I think that's a cracking signing. I think that's 10, 15 goals potentially there. So you could chuck him in. There were another one as well. Middlesbrough with Morgan Whittaker. I think that's a cracking signing. So, but as a whole, I think we've won the window. But there is some good individuals that's gone to other good sides, if that makes sense.
Okay. Over the coming weeks, then we'll break down each individual and ask you obviously how they're performing, and we'll get you to grade it in a month's time as well. We can't ask you to grade it now because you're not obviously I've seen it all. Elliot, are you back with us audio wise for the next part?
Yes, it should be all good now, hopefully.
Excellent. Okay, good stuff. Because we're talking the worst ever Sheffield United 11 over the last 3 weeks. We have been putting together, the worst 20 years of Sheffield United signings and players. So we can now finally have a look at it as a whole. I need that button there. Yes. So we managed to get a couple of subs out of it as well. Gerbich, Johnson, McEvely, Nosworthy, Mason, Holgate. Love that one. Harper, Wolford, Hammond, Salmon, Hamilton, Higdon, and then Alcock and Hussey on the bench. First of all, we want in the comments, have we got that right? Have we missed any? I know we haven't got the positions perfect in terms of squad numbers, but forgive us that. That side's getting relegated, Connor, isn't it? For sure.
Oh, 100%. Minus 100 points.
Yeah. What we need from you watching, please, now is the captain. Okay. Look at those 11 players there, the starting 11 that these guys over the last 3 weeks have put together, and tell us who should lead the shower of you know what as the captain. Who's the worst of all? It's a bit of fun, and we're not doing this for malice or anything, but. Dan, for you, that would be
Jim McEverley, absolute the worst leader of this team that possible. He was. I don't listen on that list. I'd rather have all them ahead of him. So he's worthy of being captain of this team.
Elliot,
I'd say probably Connor Salmon's the worst. He's got to be the captain. He's the worst on there for me, myself, and I, mate.
Connor.
I like what you've done on there, by the way, with Salmon. It's actually SAMMON.
Yeah. I realised that.
I like that.
Not deliberate. Connor.
I'd say Dean Hammond. Awful midfielder. Awful.
Okay. And Shax.
Nyron Nosworthy.
And Nyron Nosworthy is starred there because he also appears on another team's worst 11 as well.
Listen, he'll appear on his mother's worst 11. Don't worry about that.
Right, we need a manager then, team, please. Who's the worst ever Sheffield United manager that we have seen?
Adrian Heath.
Hey, shout for Adrian Heath. Any more?
Yeah.
David Weir.
Oh, no.
Listen, it were only ever good things that we heard about him, and then he come in, he won first game, and they were absolutely terrible since. I think we lost Kevin McDonald, which weren't his fault, but he just went absolutely downhill from there. And then I think we were mid to bottom end of League One, and then they had to get rid of him.
Oh, I can't have David Weir as that, but go on. Any more?
Brian Robson.
Sorry, Shax.
Brian Robson. Just turned up with his red alcoholic face, signed loads of old has-beens for loads of money, and he was just a dosser. And he ended up in, I think, Thailand or somewhere where he could go and get drunk under the radar, and no one would know. Just terrible, just awful. He signed some decent players because he's obviously got some connections, but his style of football was just horrific. They were dark days.
We beat City in Cup though.
They were odd day, but that were a bad time. That
okay
for me anyway. That were a bad time.
I'd say in my fuck off. Can you hear me now,
Language.
boys? Sorry.
Yeah, we certainly heard that. Yeah, go on.
My audio's playing up.
Yeah, in your mouth.
In my opinion, it'd probably be Janakovic.
Jukanovic.
That's it, Jukanovic. Sorry. He came into a pretty rubbish Sheffield United side at the time, but he didn't give anything really positive towards the club, to the players, to the fans, really. No. And now he's a free agent somewhere.
Right.
I think Mickey Adams needs a shout as well. Even though his hands were tied, I think he should have a shout as well.
All right. Okay, we've got 5 there now. Right. So let us know, please, in the comments. Who's the worst manager? Help us out. Next week, we're looking at the worst ever Sheffield United kit they've had to wear. So join us. We look back at some horrific shirts that this team can play in, and then we are done on this. And yeah, let us know if they got it wrong. Finally, it's Valentine's week, of course, this week. So we're talking about love, and of course the love for Sheffield United. So let's hear some quick stories from each of you, how you fell in love with the Blaze. Shax, kick this off. How old were you? Who's to blame?
My dad. And it'd have been mid-90s, 94, 95, something like that. Probably, it might be a bit late, it might be 96, something like that. So it'd have been secondary school years. And I think first game I went to, I think we beat Norwich 4-2 or 4-1. And I sat on upper tier, which at Bramall Lane, that's not probably somewhere where you'd sit on your first game. But I went up there and I just loved it ever since. And obviously when I started realising that at the time Wednesday were a lot better than us, shall we say, I think that just made me love football even more, as daft as it sounds, because I just wanted to get better than them, wanted to beat them. And mid-90s, and I think it was Norwich what we beat. That's my falling in love moment. I've never fell out of love with him. I've wanted to divorce him a few times, but I've never fell out of love with him.
Champion. And of course, a special moment for you this Wednesday, as I believe your lad is going to be leading the team out against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, he is. Hopefully, if he behaves, he will be anyway. But yeah, he's looking forward to it. So am I. So yeah, should be a good. Have a look out for him.
Yeah, I hope he has a cracking day. I hope he's holding Callum O'Hare's hand as he walks out the tunnel. That'd just be brilliant.
He's only 9. I reckon he'd do him in a 50-50. Callum O'Hare will be holding his hand.
Right, Connor, tell us your story.
I think mine are about 2005, 2006. When I went to sort of odd game. I first fully got a season ticket. It was the season just after we got relegated from the Premier League. I think it was maybe like 2007, 2008. It was my granddad that got me into it. I don't think he's ever missed an home game in his life, to be honest. I think in space 30, 40, 50 years him going, I think he's missed probably 2 or 3 games in that time. And my dad, he was never that bothered about going, so my granddad just sort of tagged along with him, and we've been going ever since. And it was Steve Cabba. I don't know why. I went to a match one time and saw him play, and he was lightning, and I absolutely loved him. And he was my favourite player of all time. And I was just hooked ever since.
All right, Elliot.
Well, I'm a young blade, 24. My first game I can remember, it was, what a game to be your first game. Bottom of League 2, Bury away, when we lost 3-1, I think it was.
Awful.
It was a very very cold trip down. So.
Oh, we've lost your audio again, mate. We've lost your audio. Shame on that. Come back and
I thought these young guns were good with technology.
I thought so too.
I'm an old man and I've got mine working.
Sorry, Elliot, you're dropping out again, buddy, if you can still hear us. Dan, let's finish the story off.
Yeah, so it was probably early 90s when my dad was quite a regular with my granddad at games, and it was actually the season we played Man United in the first, when Brian Deane scored the first goal. My dad told me I went to that game, but unfortunately I don't remember it. I remember being there when we beat Liverpool that year. Brian Deane lobbed Bruce Gravelar from the centre circle. I remember them little moments, and I went ever since. And then when I got a bit older, I was at school. I remember year 9 coming out of my sats, getting a minibus to QPR. Sneaking out of school and getting a minibus to QPR on a Tuesday night, and
brilliant
little things like that. It's been brilliant. And like Shaqs, I could have fell out with him. I've had loads of arguments with him, but I'll always love him. You know what I mean? So,
right, great stories. Elliot, are you back with us?
Yeah, I think I'm back. Should be back. I don't know what's going on.
Right, brilliant. Yeah. Good stuff, all of you. None of you are in a family of Wednesday fans then, and did the dirty on them or anything like that? No.
I've got a brother. I've got a brother that's a Wednesday fan, a brother that's a United fan. But my brother from my mother's half, bless her, God rest her soul. But I've got him. So our family WhatsApp group's good with my dad and my brother ganging up on my Wednesday brother. So that's always quite interesting.
Right.
I won't let them in my house. I ain't got any of them in my flat. They won't cross doors, so I don't know what you do at Christmas and birthday because they're not allowed in.
Right, in the comments, share your love stories with the Blades. Thank you for enjoy your game against Middlesbrough. Should be a good one, that one, of course, on Wednesday night. And then Luton, I think, is it Luton the weekend? I think something like that.
Yeah,
on the other side of both them games this week. Do drop us a like. We want to see how much love we've got this week. That'll be massive for us as well. If we get to 100 likes. See you next week. Have a good one.